everyone, I hope you're doing well. I've had some people ask me recently for some tips on how they can reach their reading goals, so I thought I would do a little video with my top 10 tips on how you can reach your 2025 reading goal. Last year I read 42 books, which is a really big achievement for me. My goal for this year is 50 books, so I thought I'd share with you some of my tips and how I'm staying consistent to hit my goal by the end of the year. Number one, and probably the most obvious one, is do not force yourself to read. If you're not in the mood, do not read. Reading is meant to be fun, it's not meant to be a chore, and if you force yourself, you will fall out of love with it. So what changed the reading game for me was my Kindle. So I absolutely love my Kindle. I tell everyone to get a Kindle. I think I've probably convinced about 6 people in my personal life now to get a Kindle. I need to be on commission at this rate. We're so used to technology, and I feel like our whole lives are on a phone, on a computer, on a TV. So if you're trying to get into reading, it's easier to adapt to the feeling of a screen than a book. The backlight on the Kindle is the biggest game changer for me. You can change the lighting, you can make it darker, make it lighter. You don't need a lamp on while you're reading, which completely destroys my sleep cycle. If I do try and fall asleep reading with a light on, it's just never going to happen. Books on Kindle are actually cheaper than buying physical books. So a Kindle book is what, maybe £7, £8 for a new release, which is so much cheaper than a physical book. So if financially you can't afford to keep buying books, because it does add up, especially when you're trying to hit a big goal, I'd really recommend Kindle, especially Kindle Unlimited. There you pay a set fee a month and so many books are included, and you have like a little library, and then when your library's full you return a book, but you haven't paid for it anyway really, so it works out really well. Another thing with the Kindle is I like to lie on my side when I'm in bed, so I can just one hand lie however I want, whereas with a book and you're having to flip your pages, it's a bit more of a hassle. I personally have a really small bedroom and I don't have space for loads of books. I want nothing more than a room filled with bookshelves with all my favourite copies, but that just isn't possible for me, so I get to read so many books on my Kindle that I would never be able to or have the room for. So yep, a Kindle is my number one tip for getting into reading. Number 3 is romanticize reading. Just make everything about it fun and cozy, and look at some book talks and see where people have the fireplace on the TV, or I put it on my laptop screen. I always have a scene on with some jazz music or some rain to listen to because it just makes it so cozy and so nice. A cozy outfit, maybe you've got some new cute loungewear and you want to just feel comfortable but pretty, and trust me, a fireplace scene, a new outfit, a hot drink, so maybe a coffee, a hot chocolate, a tea, my personal choice is a green tea, and you will love it. I almost forgot, a candle. You need a candle if you're going to read. Tip number 4 is a fun book tracking app. I currently have 3 on the go. So you've got Goodreads, Bookmori and Fable. Goodreads is my personal least favourite. I think it's really ugly to look at, but of course it is the OG, it is the original. You've got to have Goodreads. And Goodreads actually imports into Fable, so if you download Fable you can import everything from Goodreads and all your data's there, which is really good. I love Bookmori, that is my personal favourite. You might have seen some people posting their little book calendars. I know that I posted mine in my 2024 wrap-up video. Sorry, I'm just getting it up. So here's my January so far. It's so visual, it's really fun. You can get your statistics of how many books you've read each month. You can even fill in how many pages you've read each day, which is really cute. Bookmori is my number 1 love, but Fable is my new find, which again is way more visually appealing than Goodreads. and you can have little charts of this is your most read author or this is your most read genre. So Fable is really fun, or even the Kindle app. If you read on the Kindle especially, it updates everything you've read on your Kindle onto the app, and they do Kindle reading challenges, and it will give you your annual statistics. So it's really fun, and I feel like something like that can be really motivating when you can see your progress and track it, and it's like, yay, I finished this book, I get to update my app, and it's really fun. Tip number 5 is to switch up the genre you're reading sometimes. So I like romance and I like fantasy books, and sometimes I'll be reading a romance book and I'll think this just isn't hitting. It's not giving me the substance, like it's boring. I don't want to read another frilly romance book. Done. But if I then pick up a fantasy book, then it's the palette cleanser you need. Sometimes romance novels, I suppose, especially, can get a bit samey, and don't get me wrong, I love that. There's nothing better than knowing you're guaranteed a happy ending, and they're lovely, but it doesn't mean you're in a reading rut if you're bored of your book. Maybe you just need a palette cleanser, so try a different genre. I might try some thrillers this year because I've never done that before. But yeah, you never know what you're like. Tip number 6 is make it work for you. Not everyone has the time to read 500 pages a day. I know I definitely don't. My favourite time of day to read is, well, I'm a bad example. I like waking up early and giving myself 30 to 45 minutes extra in bed to read in the mornings and have a nice slow morning with your cup of tea. It's so lovely. I like to read on my lunch break to decompress from the stressful work day, or I like reading when I get into bed to go to sleep. They're my free times where I get my most reading done. I don't spend all evening reading, or I don't spend all day evening very often, but these are my little points of the day where I really feel in the mood and I get the most read. But yeah, just play around and see what works for you. I really like it in the mornings, especially when it's summer and the sun starts shining through. It's such a nice little vibe, so I would highly recommend that. Tip number 7 is find people with the same interests. I know it can be really hard if you don't have any friends that are into reading. I luckily do have some friends who love reading and love the same books as me, and it is the best feeling. But I made this channel so that I can hopefully find more people to discuss reading with. I found a local book club to join that I think will be really fun to discuss reads with and have someone to bounce off. It's the same as if you recommend someone your favourite film and they watch it and you get to get all excited talking about your favourite moments, your favourite characters. It's the same. It's so fun having people to talk about reading with. So many online communities on Fable. There are book clubs, so you can join someone's Fable and comment on each chapter. Number 8 is seasonal reading, and I have a particular friend who always laughs at me for my seasonal reads, but in summer I'm reading beachy, coastal destination books. In autumn I'm reading witchy, vampires, Christmas, obviously full of Christmas romance novels. I just love to match my books to the time of year. It makes me feel more invested, because if I'm sat next to my Christmas tree reading a Christmas novel, it's the best feeling. I'm just looking at my bookshelf now. I'll pop pictures of the covers on the screen. But for a summer read, I really liked Love Me Do by Lindsay Kelk. I read all the Chestnut Springs books in summer. I loved that. Beach read, book lovers. Emily Henry has loads of lovely summery reads. For spooky season, I read Bride by Ali Hazelwood, or I also loved The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. That's probably my favourite Halloweeny read that I've read, because that's based on a witch. Christmas books, Jenny Colgan has loads of good Christmas books, and there's so many videos suggesting some Christmas reads. I actually did a video reading 4 Christmas books this year, so I will pop a link to that somewhere in case you're interested, but probably not, it's January. So we are currently, I suppose, looking towards romance season for Valentine's Day. I'll let anyone know if I find any books kind of based on Valentine's Day. Tip number 9 is find YouTubers with similar book tastes for you. That is my favourite way to get book recommendations, because I have some YouTubers that I really love their content, and I know that if they like a book, I will like a book. I'll read out some of my favourites. I made a little list. in case you want to check them out, although I'm sure you probably already know them. So my number one favourite is Sarah Caroli, and then also Steph Bower. They are, I feel like, the most iconic book YouTubers. They are my favourites. Sarah in particular, I'm just obsessed with her videos at the minute. But also Rachel Catherine, Sophie Jane, Laura Home, Ellen Catherine. There's a whole list of YouTubers that I really love. I will pop some pictures on the screen and I'd say check them out because they have so many videos reading some amazing books, and if you find one that you connect with a similar taste to you, it's just so good to get future book recommendations. My final tip is do not be disheartened by a DNF. Just because you didn't like that book, it's fine. It doesn't mean you don't like reading. It doesn't mean you don't like that author. It doesn't even necessarily mean you don't like that book. I seen a post and it said, think of your TBR shelf as a wine cellar, and they're all great bottles of wines, but that might just not be the one for the day. You don't have to go back to it, but the option's always there. Just keep an open mind and give someone else a go. I hope this video has helped someone, anyone. Like I said, my goal is 50 books for this year. Let me know what your goals are and what you're doing to achieve them. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble for God knows how long. Hopefully I've kept this quite clear and concise, but thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you like these kind of videos, and hopefully I'll see you next time.